Good Wednesday morning, Arizona students. Jay Will here.
And I'm Tiffany. Let's get this Wednesday started. At Hyfntv, we have a captive audience of students across Arizona and America, and we know the responsibility of civil society is in the hands of tomorrow's leaders. And with an educated mind, your possibilities in this country are endless. While I typically cover the hypersonic arms race and the geopolitical cause and effect that impact your everyday life, I want you to follow with me the current energy crisis that we all see daily as it continues to take up more money to fill up the same size gas tank each week. We don't want to tell you just what's happening, but why. So you students of today understand how to solve the problems of tomorrow. So let's jump right into it. We have seen political bickering about energy in America for as long as we can remember, but politics aside, some of you new high school drivers just want to know what's going on with the gas prices. Well, you must understand before fuel ever goes into our gas tank, it must be found underground in the form of shale oil, pulled out of the ground, transferred back to a refinery, and then sent back out to the filling stations where we pump our gas. So let's face it, someone has to pay for that work, so that's why gas isn't free. Oh, and let us not forget the government, who didn't participate in bringing any of this product to market. They get their cut out of your wallet too. Now, stay with me here. I just explained the basic of the cost of gas, but why is there a spiking in the price? Here's the thing. In 2016, the oil industry found a new way of getting oil out of the ground while leaving a cleaner and smaller footprint. By doing this, we found that America has more untapped oil than any other country on the planet, and this is backed up by a report from Rystad Energy estimating the U.S. is sitting on an incredible 264 barrels of oil reserves. This includes oils in existing fields, new projects, recent discoveries, as well as projections in undiscovered fields. More than half of America's untapped oil is unconventional shale oil, according to Rystad, and shale oil is the previously unreachable crude that, thanks to fracking and new technology, has reshaped the global energy landscape and vaulted the U.S. into the upper echelon of global oil producers. This was the untold boom that drove American gas prices down in 2016. America became one of the top producers of oil, and for the first time in U.S. history, in 2019, the U.S. was energy independent. In 2020, the production of oil was so high, the president ordered the Department of Energy to fill the U.S. emergency strategic reserves to the max, purchasing 77 million barrels of oil from U.S. producers. In 2021, on his second day in office, President Biden signed an executive order he named Protecting Public Health and the Environment and Restoring Science to Tackle the Climate Crisis. The biggest takeaway from this executive order was the cancellation of the Keystone XL pipeline permit. The project had been rejected by President Obama in late 2015, fast-tracked by President Trump in 2017, and now once more rejected and shut down by President Biden in 2021. But there is no mention of fracking directly in this executive order. The administration also issued Secretarial Order Number 3395, which implemented a 60-day suspension of new oil and gas leasing and drilling permits for federal land and water. This week, President Biden followed that action up with an executive order now called Tackling the Climate Crisis at Home and Abroad. The biggest takeaway from this order was an indefinite pause on new oil and natural gas leases on public lands until a comprehensive review on the climate change impacts can be completed. These shut-offs of our own production has led to a massive hike in price as America now is forced to import most of their oil. Before Thanksgiving, the president offered to release 50 million barrels of oil from the Emergency Strategic Reserve to help curb cost. However, the U.S. uses 25 million barrels a day, so the 50 million barrels had very little, if any, short-term impact and zero long-term impact. Just to give you an idea of how big our emergency strategic reserves are, it currently holds over a little 600 million barrels of crude oil and is stored underground in a series of large underground salt domes in 4 locations along the Gulf Coast of Texas and Louisiana, and is linked to major pipelines in the region. Look, I know that this was a lot to take in, but as we follow this energy crisis in America, it is important to understand the cause and effect of the policies and positions of our political leaders have on our personal lives. As this story develops further, we will make sure we are on the forefront to keep you up to date. Jay Will, did you get all that? It's pretty crazy how all that works. A jump in the fuel hits the blue-collar folks the worst.
It sure does, Tiff. But let's talk about last night's game. And last night's game was phenomenal. Mikal Bridges and DeAndre Ayton were all smiles at the podium last night, reminiscing about a 4-year turnaround for the Phoenix Suns. The Suns won just 19 games during their rookie season, and now they've tied a franchise record with 17 wins in a row. Ayton scored 24 points, Chris Paul added 15 points and 11 assists, and the Suns won their 17th straight by beating the Golden State Warriors 104-96. The Suns won despite losing their star guard Devin Booker to a left hamstring injury in the second quarter. He had 10 points and 2 rebounds in 15 minutes. The 25-year-old appeared to get hurt when driving to the basket for a layup, grabbing the back of his leg before walking into the locker room a few minutes before halftime. Even without Booker, the Suns led 56-54 at halftime and 80-78 going into the fourth quarter. The game stayed tight and neither team led by double digits until Landry Shamet knocked down a three-pointer on an assist by Paul with 54.4 seconds left. The win was another milestone for the Suns, who have thrived with the young core of athletes. The final key piece came when they added Paul, the 11-time All-Star, before last season. Phoenix made the NBA Finals in July before losing to the Milwaukee Bucks, and now they're on a winning streak that lasted more than a month. The game mostly lived up to the hype, at least until the Warriors, who had their 7-game winning streak snapped, went cold in the fourth quarter. The two teams play again this Friday night at Golden State. On another